Everyone, today we are exploring one of the most fascinating stories in modern ecology. How the reintroduction of wolves into Yellowstone National Park didn't just change animal populations, it literally changed the shape of rivers. Sounds impossible, right? But by the end of this video, you understand how one predator transformed an entire landscape. So our story begins in Yellowstone National Park, which is a vast ecosystem once full of wolves, elk and deer. But by the early 1900s, wolves had been completely wiped out due to hunting and human expansion. Without their natural predators, elk populations grew unchecked. They overgrazed young trees and plants, setting off a chain reaction that would change the park's ecology for decades. With too many elk feeding freely, vegetation started disappearing. Young willows, aspens and cottonwoods were eaten before they could mature. This meant fewer trees for birds to nest in and less food for beavers to build their dams. Without trees and shrubs to hold soil in place, the valleys began eroding and the once rich ecosystem started to decline. Yellowstone was losing its balance. In 1995, biologists reintroduced a small number of wolves into Yellowstone, and everything began to change. At first, the wolves simply hunted elk, as you'd expect, but what really changed was the elk's behaviour. Elk started avoiding open valleys and riverbanks, places where wolves could easily ambush them. With fewer elk browsing those trees, vegetation had a chance to grow again. Trees and shrubs returned to the valleys, and with them came a wave of new life. So this process is a classic example of what ecologists call a trophic cascade, when changes at the top of the food chain ripple all the way down to plants, soils and even the shape of the land. By reducing elk pressure, wolves indirectly allowed more vegetation to thrive. More plants meant more insects, more birds, and even the return of beavers, who hadn't been able to find enough wood for decades. So here's where the story gets incredible. With vegetation returning along riverbanks, the soil became stronger and more stable. Trees and shrubs helped hold the ground in place, reducing erosion. As a result, rivers began to flow in narrower, more defined channels instead of meandering widely. In short, the wolves never touched the rivers, but their presence reshaped them through the ecosystem's chain of cause and effect. So this is one of the best demonstrations of how everything in nature is connected. Every organism, from predator to prey, from tree to insect, plays a role in maintaining balance. When one piece of the system is removed, it affects everything else. But when that piece is restored, harmony can return, often in surprising ways. So what can we learn from Yellowstone's wolves? First, conservation really works. Carefully reintroducing a keystone species, one that has a disproportionately large impact on its environment, can restore entire ecosystems. Secondly, this reminds us that nature operates through complex relationships. Protecting biodiversity isn't just about saving cute animals, it's about keeping the planet's life support system stable and resilient. When we let nature heal, it often finds its balance again. So the story of Yellowstone wolves teaches us that even small actions in ecology can have enormous consequences. A few wolves change not just animal populations, but plants, landscapes and even rivers. They remind us that we're part of nature's web too, and that protecting it protects us all. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you like, subscribe and share it so more people can see amazing power of biology in action.